Okay, looks like we've got most people on here. I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm Katie Simon. I'm the head of customer support at Groundwork. Tonight, I'm going to be introducing you to Groundwork. I'm going to first walk through an overview of what a Groundwork is. Then I'll show you the product and how you'll be using it as treasurer. And then we'll do a Q&A at the end. You can also put questions in the chat on the side at any time. I'll answer some of them as we go. I may skip some, so if I don't answer your question right away, I'll come back to it later, but feel free to put questions in there at any time. Before we get into it, I'm gonna turn it over to Diane just to say a couple words from the club. Yeah, so go ahead, Diane.
Good evening, everyone. This is Diane. Many of you know me. I've been with Arlington Soccer for the last almost 10 years. And I know that many of you have asked about doing team fee payments via credit card. So we have been looking at options, and this is an option that we have found that will enable everybody to collect fees very easily and use ACH, so nobody is paying any fees. If they do want to use a credit card, they will be charged the fee, but they themselves will pay that. But it should allow you as a treasurer to track the payments very easily in one place, so that you can confirm everybody's paid and you know exactly what is going on with your account, and you can match that up to all your other documents as far as with you tracking your budget for the year. So I'm hopeful that everyone finds this useful. We will see how this goes. It's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but it is a very easy platform, and Kay and I are very excited about branching this out, and hopefully it will make all of your lives easier as well, because you won't be trying to go around and collect checks from everybody. And I know Kay sent out basic information about this, so I do want to just highlight a few things, because we are going to insist that everybody use this as the platform to do ACH check payments or credit cards. If you do have cash, we will accept that at the office, but we really want to have everybody using this because it will more aptly be able to have everybody track all of the payments. And we do have some set days that we would like you to try and use for your payment schedule. That way everybody is kind of on the same timeline, and we tried to make that not at the same time when people are paying their club fees. So we were trying to be sensitive to that. Clearly, if you have families that need more time, you can you will be able to add in extra payment dates. So I'm going to turn it back over to Katie, and hopefully everybody will find this as useful as we think that it will be for you. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Diane. Yeah, so first, some of you may have already seen some information about this, but what is Groundwork? Groundwork is a website. You can use it on your computer or on your phone. It doesn't require a separate app. It's just you can, in the browser on your phone or on your computer, go to the website. The website is www.ground.work. You can log into that on any device with a browser. And the main function is that Groundwork allows you to accept payments online for free. Like Diane mentioned, it does, if parents opt to pay by credit card, they have to pay a small fee, but the bank payments are free and you get to accept them without any added fees for you. Parents do have the option to pay by bank account or pay by credit card, and that money will be automatically transferred out to the club. Oops. As team treasurer, Groundwork helps you organize and track all of your player dues throughout the season. It helps you easily keep track of things like scholarships, payment plans, any specialized payments that need to be customized for particular players. It helps you, will help you track the financial aid players on your team, and I'll go over that as well when we're in the product. And it shows you how much money has been collected what remains to be collected, and what payments are late for each player. It's also a way for you to automate a lot of the busy work behind collecting the money for the team. The money collected on Groundwork will automatically be deposited into the club's bank account, and the reminders for this are automated on Groundwork as well, based on the payment schedule that you set, which will be either the 2 installments or the 4 installments based on your budgets. Parents will automatically be reminded of those payments, and then they'll be automatically billed for the payments when the due date or billing date for the payment comes up. And when the payments become past due, they'll receive, or if they become past due, they'll receive automatic follow-up reminders about past due payments as well. And to give you an idea of how that collection part works, actually, this is just sort of the basic timeline, which is that parents will pay on the due date, the money comes into Groundwork, the money is transferred out to your bank. Since this will be on sort of a set schedule for your club, or kind of one of 2 different schedules, you don't have to worry about this as much. But this is kind of the basic outline of how that money is transferred. So you'll see that payments are charged to the parents. They'll flip to paid in your Groundwork dashboard after they have been received and transferred to your bank account. So how does this work for you as the team treasurer? It's pretty simple. In a few days or sometime next week, you'll be receiving an email invitation from Groundwork to sign up for the team as team assistant. You'll create an account, which will just be setting your name, your email address, a password. It's very easy. And then the next step will be to set up a payment schedule for your team. So this will be those installments for that everybody will be paying on. And we'll go over that as well when we're in the product. And this, although it sounds like you're going to be set for your club, also can be edited if it's needed to change the payment schedule for the whole team. But I think that isn't how you guys are going to be managing your teams. So you'll join the team as an assistant, set up the payment schedule, and the next step is going to be to invite parents to sign up. And so you'll add the players to the team, and you'll send invites to the parents. When parents get their invites to sign up, they'll see all the payments that are currently assigned to their player on the team. They'll be able to add their bank or card, set those payments up for automatic billing. Anytime they get new payments added to their player or their account, they'll also get notified by email and asked to approve those payments as well. Over the course of the season, you can add new payments, track who's late on their payments, and see where you need to be spending your time as treasurer. Although the goal on Groundwork is really to reduce that amount of time that you're spending, chasing parents down, sending out reminders, following up with people who may be late on their payments or may need more customized payments. I am seeing a question, if a parent does not sign up, can we sign them up? Seems like we might just be shifting the reminders from please pay to please sign up. That's the benefit that Groundwork is going to offer there. You will be adding them to the team. You can't sign them up because they do have to provide their bank account or card. But what I'll show you is that basically what you can do is, if you get them signed up for one payment, you can get them signed up for all the payments. So that's kind of the advantage, is that early in the season, you can say, we see that you know, this is going to be a problem. We want to get them signed up for their future payments, because then it's just automatic billing. Yeah, so that's pretty much the steps to get going as team treasurer. And with that, what I'm going to show you today is how to set up your team, how to invite those parents to sign up, and how to customize payments and add new payments mid-season. And we're, like I said, we're recording all of this. We'll send you that recording. We'll also send you this slideshow so you can reference it at any time, because we've included sort of a how-to guide and some steps to get going and some additional resources. So we'll be sending all this out, so you'll have all this at your fingertips when you're actually setting up your team. I am now going to switch over to my Groundwork account so we can go through the product there. So this is my Groundwork account. I have already received my team assistant invite and accepted it. And now I'm logged in as a team assistant, and this is my dashboard. So what I have in here is a summary of parent invites, a summary of the collections. I can see my team here. And I also have some other categories and settings I can access on the side. I'm going to click on Teams over here on the left. And again, I can see the team that I'm an assistant on. I'm going to click into that team. You know, I don't really have any other information in here, but this will all get filled in as you add payments and start collecting money. So right now I can see a few things. I don't have any players on my team. I haven't collected any money. I'm in my season, and I'm an assistant. So I see over here my payment schedule is in draft. And the first thing I'm gonna do before adding any players, and you won't be able to send invites until you do this, I'm going to edit my payment schedule. The first thing you have to do is set that payment schedule. So I'm gonna click here at the bottom, edit payment schedule. Right now I can see it's empty, and I'm going to add payments below. And I don't know exactly what your club wants to call the payments, but I'm just gonna call them installment number one, or I'm gonna call this first one installment number one for right now. You know, I'll say it's $200, and the due date, I believe the first due date that they have set is August 10th. So I have this installment one, amount parent pays. So that's the amount that you're going to be collecting from them. I believe this will be set based on your budget. And I have the due date. And again, the due date is the date that parents are actually charged for those payments. So it's not sort of, you know, the outside deadline. That's when most parents will pay. You can pay early, but that's when they'll be billed automatically. We're not gonna do an optional payment. That won't be applicable to the schedules that you're setting up. And I'm going to add this payment to the payment schedule. So now I can see here, installment one, my due date, how much I'm going to receive. And now I'm going to, let's say I'm just gonna do 2 installments. So I'm gonna have August 10th as my first one. I believe that December 10th may be the next one if you're doing the 2 installment plans, but you can double check that with what the club sends out. And I'm going to click add payment on that one. Now I have my 2 installments included in my payment schedule. And I'm gonna scroll down here and click publish. So now you can see I've published my payment schedule. And if I come down here at the bottom, I can click view. I can see my payments that are in there. If I need to make any changes, I can put it in edit mode and change things as needed. We do recommend, especially for the way that you're going to be collecting fees, to have that payment schedule set before you invite the parents, because if you make changes later, they always have to be approved. So this is the way that, they can just sign up, see what they're going to have for the season, and agree to it and be done with it. So the next thing I'm going to do is add a player. There's a couple ways to add players. I'm just going to add myself as a player here using my name and email, but there's also this bulk upload form, and you can copy in a player roster from Excel. There's a help article here that shows you how it works. You can copy in those players and their parent emails, click preview, it'll show you the list, and then you can add them from there. But for now, I'm just gonna add myself here. And now I can see I'm here on the team. No invite has been sent yet because we haven't issued that, and we haven't sent all our invites. We'll wait till we've added all our players and customized them before we do that. There is a question in the chat. Can you add more than one email per player? You cannot. It can only be one parent email per player at this time. I can show you later if you have players with divorced parents, or players who want to split up their payments between two different parents. We can cover that later. Just let me know in the chat if that's something that you want to see. So now I have my player. I can see that I have $400 upcoming on this player. I'm going to click into this player and see what it looks like. So I can see here that the installments from my payment schedule have been applied to this player. And that'll be good in the case for most of the players, but you can also edit them on a per player basis by going to their player page. So now that we're in the player page, we have a bunch of things we can do on this page, and they will only apply to this player. So we can first do, we can edit the amount of the payments, we can edit the due date of the payments. So anybody who needs, customization, if they need a due date pushed back, that'll be the type of thing that you'll have to do from here. We at Groundwork won't do any of that. We're really just here to facilitate that communication between the two of you, so we want the parents to be able to request to you to move the due dates back, or if you wanted to split up a payment into, an additional installment, you could lower the amount here and add a new one, add a new payment. So I'll just really quickly show you what that would look like. So we had our installment number 1. I went over here on the right, I clicked edit amount. I'll make this new one $100. I'll click save. You can ignore that scholarship box if that's not how you guys will be handling financial aid payments. So now I can see that the amount on this payment is $100, and I can come here and click add payment, and I can add a new payment. So I'll call this one installment number 1, part 2. I'll make this due date, a week later, August 17th, and I'll say the parent pays $100. And now I have, I'm collecting the same amount from this player, but I don't have to, it can be split up over a longer period of time. The other thing that you can do here is record payment. So that's if you have an offline payment for this player, You can record it to apply it towards the payments on their account. So I'm going to click record payment because this is also how you could do, say, like an incoming player credit. If they had $55 and it was a credit from last season, you can apply that here. You can see it will break it up over their payments as appropriate. Right now it's just going to apply to that first installment. We'll say great. I'll record that payment. And now I can see that I have a lower amount unpaid. When the parent signs up or logs in, they'll see that they only have $45 to pay on that payment. Yeah, so on this page, we covered how to edit a payment. You can also then edit that offline payment if you want to make changes to that. You can add a payment if you want to add a new payment to be paid, and you can record a payment. You can also communicate with the parents here again as well. This is, we really want to facilitate that communication so that you have, a way to communicate with them. I'm going to go back to my team here by clicking on this team name. So now I'm back in my team. I'm going to add another player, and this time I'm going to, this is going to be a financial aid player. As you can see, it's no problem to add multiple players with the same parent email. That's fine. Parents can sign up using the same email, pay for multiple players on their one account. They can be on different teams. They can be on the same teams. No problem. I'm going to pause for a minute and take a look at a couple of these questions in the chat. So yes, some teams have returning players with money transferred. So that's, you can record payment to record those credits. Do we load parent emails? Yes, you'll have those rosters, and you'll want to add those parents and invite them. Add payment, more like add installment. Yes, add payment is if you want to add an additional amount to be charged when they, to their account. And record payment, record when they've paid. Yes. Prorating fees for new players mid-season. This will be based a little bit on company policy, but I'll also show you while I'm on this team page that you can delete an item. So actually, I'll go back to the team and we'll do that on this financial aid player. So Diane or Kay, you can please correct me if I get this wrong, but my belief that this is how the club wants to handle these players is that I'll add a payment here. It's going to be, we'll call it team fees number 1, or something like that. I'll make this due date December 31st. And we'll say this is $100, and I'll add this payment. And so that's going to be for the financial aid players, a transfer from the club. So the parent won't actually be paying that because the club will be collecting some of their intermittent fees, and then based on if they're caught up on those fees, the club will make that transfer. The club will apply a payment to this invoice, and that's how that will be handled. So we'll also want to, while we're on this page, we'll delete our payment schedule items. So we have our, these 2 items were from our payment schedule. They won't apply to this player because it's a financial aid player. So I'm going to delete this one and delete this one. And then what we'll have for our financial aid players are these 2 team fees payments. There are due dates that are set by the club. So don't quote me on these exact dates, but they'll be sort of later in the year to give them time to make up for the payments, and that's how those financial aid payments will be handled. So it'll be very custom to each player. So now I'm going to go back to the team. You can see that we have, our 2 players are here. They each have different amounts that are coming up on their schedule. We have this $55 offline payment that we recorded, and we have these other fees that are upcoming. I see incoming balances. I think you'll have to get that information from the club. And for the financial aid players, I'm actually going to turn this over to Diane for a minute to cover what I talked about and let you guys know about a little bit of those policies.
Okay, I'm hoping everybody can hear me at this point.
Yeah, we can.
So for the financial aid players, the amount that we're collecting, I think with the exception of DA, it's still the same from previous years, and that's in the information that Kay already sent out. So what you would do, so depending on the team, and the tier, let's say the fee that's being collected is $400, you would put the $200 that we're going to transfer in the fall table on at December 31st, so that we have plenty of time to get in there and mark it as paid and transfer it. We'll probably get the fees to you sooner, but we just want, because Kay's actually going to go in and actually mark them all, so we know that everybody's done. And then the same goes for the second half. That would be due by June 30th. So we still have time again. And then if your team fees, let's say were $500, you would just need to bill that financial aid family the $100 difference. So you could collect that in 2 $50 payments. However, talking with that family, but yes, so you would still be sending them and including them as this. So then this is very clear for them to see that that they have the money that's coming in that's being transferred, but they need to pay that difference. And I hope that is clear for everybody based on the questions that I was seeing come through. Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you. So it sounds like then they wouldn't necessarily, that was my mistake from the payment schedule, delete those installment payments, but they would be lowered based on the amount that they would be receiving from the club.
Right. So if the fees are less, we're still collecting the amount because it's already set up. So then at the end of the year, they may have a carryover credit that's higher. When that balance gets really high, we would actually have the team issue a credit. Even if they were issue a check, we would do a refund check, even if they were staying with the club, because typically we don't issue refund checks to players staying with the club. But clearly we don't need to have a financial aid player who could probably use the money to pay for regular club fees and things, having $100 or $200 balance carrying from one year to another. So, and for somebody that's carrying over from one season to the next, yes, you would still have to go in and put in the amounts, because that's something that we don't track on a per player basis. So the team treasurers, you should know what your players are carrying over from one season to another. Okay. And I see the last question is they're concerned about financial aid families not understanding that those those payments they don't actually have to pay. I guess my question to you, and I hadn't really thought about that, Katie, is could they mark that as financial aid, even though it's not really financial aid because they're paying for that already, so that they're not, so that they don't think that they have to pay that. I don't know how that shows up.
I think we can talk about this after if we need to do a little bit more thinking on it. They will, okay, if they have a payment that is open on their account, like this payment, it will be, they'll be asked to basically approve it to their account. So that could cause some confusion. I mean, it's also, the note for it could be something like, please approve this, but we won't be charging it to you or something like that. You know, if all
Okay.
the club fees are paid or something to that effect.
Okay. Well, so let's talk about that offline, and for the treasurers that are on here, we will make sure that we get you the correct information so that that is clear. Because I was hoping, what I want this to do is hopefully make it easier for them to understand what they owe towards their team fees, so that it is clear for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Thanks, Diane. Okay. So let's go back to our team. And now I'm going to go ahead. So again, you could, have added all of your players using this bulk upload form. I'm going to go ahead and send these invites. So now I can see that I sent my invites instead of showing invite not sent. Now I have not signed up. And I'm going to go into my email and grab that invite. So this is what this looks like. I got an invitation from Arlington Soccer to pay my team fees online. So I'm going to click this to sign up. And I'll click let's get started. You can see that I'm already logged in over here. You only need one account as an assistant and as a parent. You can, after you sign up for your assistant account, if you use the same email address, you'll just be prompted to log in, or if you're already logged in, then you can just stay logged in and add the player to your account. So I can see here my payments. I have, my installment 1, it's lower because I have this credit from last season. I have this other installment. I can very clearly see the cost if I pay by bank and the cost if I pay by card, which includes that added fee. And I have the billing date for the payment. So again, that's the date that their card is charged or that we send the request to the bank account. And I'm going to go ahead and add my card here. Click save. So now I have my payment method here. I can add a new bank or add a new card. I'm going to enroll in auto pay, or they'll also have the option to pay all now. Most people will enroll in auto pay. I'll click continue. And you can also see here, I'll be charged on the billing date. You can manage the payments at any time. I'll show you that in a minute. And you'll be sent a reminder before the billing date. So I'm going to authorize auto pay. And now I'm here in my dashboard. I can see the payments that I have coming due. Since I added 2 players on this one email, I can also see that I have another invite waiting for me, but I won't worry about that right now. And now you can see sort of what the parents can control here. So I also have a couple options. I can request a change to communicate with you, the treasurer. Please split this up. I need more time to pay. Those requests will be sent to you, and then you can deal with them as you like. And here I have also the option to stop payment. And what that does is the payment will not be charged as long as it has a stop payment on it. So it won't be auto pay won't come out of that account on August 10th. On the assistant side, you'll be able to see that they've done this. So, you can communicate with them if that's not what you expected or a problem. But we just want to make sure that parents have control over it, so it's not like they enroll in something and then have no ability to get out of it. If they need to stop the auto pay, they can do that here. They can also, down here at the bottom of their dashboard, change payment method. So they can choose the payments that they want to switch, add a new bank or add a new card, or use the same one, and change the payment method on those payments. And there's also the option here to make payment, which is if you want to pay in advance and you didn't choose pay, if parents want to make a payment in advance, say they're, it's a week before the due date and they just want to pay it now, they can come here, click on the player, choose payments, and choose a payment method, and pay those ahead of time. So that's always an option for them as well. And show you another thing here, which is that this is how you switch between your role as a parent or as a team assistant. So if you're in your parent account, you want to go back to being a team assistant, you'll have those two different dashboards so that you can, as a parent, you can manage your payments and your settings, and as the team assistant, you can manage the whole team. This is also where you can edit or change payment methods. You can delete a payment method. If you do have upcoming payments on your account, you will have to add a new one. But if you've paid all your payments, then you can delete your payments here. I saw a question in the chat about, can parents pay in one installment? So the bank information isn't stored. So if you wanted to do that, then you would pay those and then delete your payment method here. So that's what it looks like as a parent. I'm going to go back now, click on my name in the top right, go back to being a team assistant. So now I'm back on my team. I can see that I've filled in a little bit more of this data here. So I have the money that's been paid, the money upcoming, and I want to show you so we have our payment schedule. I think you guys will most be leaving those set as is. So I'm going to leave that, but if you wanted to, you can edit this and add it. And let me see. I'm going to do that here. I'm just going to add a new payment so you can see what this looks like, how parents need to approve payments. So I clicked view and then put it in edit mode. I'm going to go to edit payment schedule. And I'm just putting in a new payment here. And this might be something that you might be doing as like a one-off on a parent's account. I'm going to click add payment. Now I can see it appear on my payment schedule. I'm going to click publish. Okay. And so now, because I have this player who has signed up, it says awaiting approval. And what that means is that the payment that I just added has not been approved by this parent. And so before it can be charged to them, they have to approve it. So now I'm going to go back to my role as a parent. They'll get an email notifying them of it, telling them they can log in and approve it. I can see up here I have new payments awaiting approval. I can click here to approve. Again, I can assign it to the same card, add a new card, authorize billing. But that just gives you an idea of like, we have a no surprises rule here. And so, that you can't add a new payment or edit a payment without them knowing and approving that change. Great. So yeah, go ahead and get those questions in the chat if you haven't done so already. I'm going to start going through those. I'm going to go back to my team assistant role. Okay. Yes, Arlington has access to the teams, and that's how they'll be like applying those credits and stuff like that. The credit card fee is a percentage of the payment amount. It's 3.9% plus 30 cents. Can parents pay in one installment? Yes. Okay, let me see. There is no fee on bank payments. The bank payments are free from our side. Most banks don't charge fees for those. If they happen to, then that's something that, you know, they'll be responsible for, but that's pretty uncommon. Yeah, okay. If you have any questions from earlier that I didn't get to, you can go ahead and paste them in the chat. Is there an option where Groundwork doesn't store the bank information? So, you know, the advantage, the benefit that we're trying to provide for you as treasurers, for, you know, everybody, is the ability to set people up on auto pay. Even as a parent, you know, just the ability to get those payments in there, approve them, and not have to think about it every month. So the idea is for that. If you do pay all, you know, as a parent, if you pay all the payments, you can then delete your card or bank and it won't be stored. But, you know, that's we want it to be like paying any other bill that you have, with just the option to sort of set it and forget it, you know, without having to continuously enter your bank information or your card information every time you want to make a new payment. Yeah. Great. Are there any other questions? I'll mention a couple other things while we're finishing up here. There's reporting here, which, you know, you can use to sort of slice the data all different ways to get, you know, the information that you want. Also down here, this is our help widget. So you can click on that. Over here, you'll see a little picture of my face in our production environment. And you can send me a chat. You can email us at support@ground.work. And I'm here Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But if I'm not around, you know, we'll get back to your message the next day. I see this question about the process for recording reimbursements. And I know there have been a couple other questions about the club policy. I'm going to, I'll turn it back over to Diane in a second. She might be able to address some of those things, or they may have to be communicated to you separately. But yeah, that's basically the overview of Groundwork as a team treasurer and for your teams. Diane, I'm going to turn it back over to you if there's other things you wanted to address or add.
Okay, so I'm trying to read through all the questions here. So the process for reimbursements, none of that is recorded in this piece. This is predominantly to assist you in helping do your actual fee collection, so that, because so many people have asked about doing payments via credit card or electronically, this is a way to record all that. It doesn't allow you to do reimbursements. That process will still stay the same, where you'll submit that 2K via the expenses@arlingtonsoccer.com email, or you can send a hard copy. So you'll still need to track that separately, but you'll be able to tell where each player's balance is, I think, more easily in this platform. So hopefully that will make tracking that individual piece a lot easier. Kay and I, although it'll be mostly Kay, will have access. She can go in, she can look at, you know, each team and actually line by players. So if you have questions, or it will be much easier for us to help you as treasurers, which right now, because we can help you create budgets and we can help with collections if we need to. We just don't have the same amount of visibility. This actually gives us as a club overall visibility that we don't have right now. So hopefully we will be able to support you a little bit better in that manner. So I hope that answers the question. So anyway, so if I'm missing something, you can send another question through the thing. And just know that, you know, this is, while we've tried to come up with, you know, questions and issues that we may have. There are going to be things much like the team fee thing tonight that we may still have to tweak a little bit. But hopefully, I mean, it's a pretty easy platform to set up and get going. So I don't think it's going to take you a lot of time to get things going. I know it's a little bit different, and it's another platform for a parent to have to deal with. But hopefully, most people will just put in their, I'm assuming most people will actually use the ACH transfer and not pay the fees. They can set it up, and they'll either pay everything up front, or they'll do the two, or they'll just go in and make the payment if they don't want to have the card, the information stored. But that'll make life easier, and everybody will see it, and we won't have everybody trying to drop stuff off, and you won't be worried about losing checks and things. So I'm hoping this will actually make it much easier for everybody.
Yeah, that's speaking from Groundwork. That's definitely our goal. Is just to have you be able to reduce the amount of times that you're spending, hours chasing down parents a week, or dealing with finances, to just a much less time, an hour or two, or if you get on this payment schedule, just kind of set it and forget it.
So one question just came up. We can figure out a message to send to all the parents about that we are implementing this. We were focusing on getting the treasurers up to speed, clearly, because we know that a lot of people do tend to finish school and potentially leave town. So we wanted to get everybody as up to speed as we possibly can, but we will definitely try and reach out to all the parents and let everybody know. And the other question I just saw is, hold on a second, I'm sorry. Budgets for each team are based on the team budgets. Kay did include the team budget worksheet that is also up on the website. So if you're a brand new treasurer and haven't done this before and you need some help, reach out to Kay or myself. We can try and help you. The budget worksheet definitely goes through a lot of the basics as to what you will need to budget, and everybody needs to remember going into a new uniform year that you will need to get new guest kits for the teams. So that is something that you will need to consider and as part of what you're going forward. So and then as far as I just saw a payment plan. We actually came up with a payment plan that we'd like everybody to try and use. Clearly, if that does not work, you can adjust the payment dates, but we were trying to be conscious of knowing when the regular club fees were coming out for people that are paying on installments. So just know and understand that and be conscientious of that, and also just to make sure that team accounts were funded enough prior to when we would need to collect tournament fees. Okay. And somebody asked if the first payment is due August 10th, will we be able to pay for the August tournaments? Yes, we will. That because most of the tournaments people are doing we are doing by club checks, so we can miss that manage. So that is something that we're willing to handle. But hopefully that answers most things. And again, if you have more questions, please reach out to Kay and myself.
Great. Thank you. Thank you all for joining. Thanks, Diane, for explaining all that. We'll distribute a copy of this webinar and the slideshow. And if you have any questions as you're going along for the club policies, you can always reach out to your club for Groundwork questions. We're always available through email or chat, and we're happy to help. All right. Have a good night, everyone.